Cushion in your seat. Good morning.
Morning, John.
How's it going?
How you doing? All I can see is a little bald head. Hello, bald head.
Little bald head.
How's she doing?
Good. Mummy's just having a shower, so we're having our morning cuddles.
She needs one, the filthy rat. Anyway, how we doing, people? I sound and look absolutely hideous. Got a bit of a rough one, thanks to stupid Matt and his ridiculous illnesses. I've had a sore throat ever since coming back from the X-Endurance and Athlete Programme weekend. Yeah, now I've just got a little bit of a runny nose, so I sound worse and look worse than I actually feel. But today we're cracking on. We just had some really cool calls about the podcast and stuff, which is really exciting. Get excited for the podcast. TLM Radio, if you haven't already got it, it's available on iTunes, Spotify. You know what to do. Going to the gym. I can't really train that hard today because anything that's going to elevate my heart rate too much is just going to make me feel really rough. So if you're somebody who struggles when you're ill and you still want to move, you'll find out what I'm going to do and how I normally get around it. And then, yes, we're going to do it. We're going to have a back cave later on because we've got a big subject to talk about, which is all what the title stands for. So let's get going. Yes, this stuff, Purdy's Multivit, absolutely winning right now. Right, due to the fact that I'm feeling a little bit crappy still, no cardio, heavy back squats I'm starting with today. It's like so weird. Since I've been on the athlete program, it's like I'm always squatting heavy, and now today I've got to do 5 sets of 2 at 150, which a few months ago I'd have been going, I can't even do 1 on a good day. So let's get warm. What's up, team? I thought I'd jump in with a quick, well, it probably won't be that quick because I like to ramble, voiceover when it comes to warming up, mobilizing, stretching, that kind of stuff, because obviously we just really shoot through it very quickly to get to the crux of the matter, as in like the workout in the videos, because otherwise it gets very boring. But I think it's a really important point to put in. I spend around 30 minutes to 40 minutes in total warming up and mobilizing. If you are not as stiff as a board as much as I am, you can probably get away with doing a lot less, but this is kind of my usual sort of drill. You'll notice that on the foam roller, I'm basically rolling down to different parts or different vertebrae and just trying to encourage my thoracic spine to move. I'm not causing pain or anything like that. It might look a little bit jolty and aggressive, but that really helps just get the spine in the upper part or mid to upper part of my back moving. And then you'll notice I move onto my lats. This really will help if you struggle to keep your elbows up in the front rack position. My lats get super tight, especially when I do a lot more like butterfly work and that kind of stuff. So if you're wanting to do front squats, if you're doing cleans, and also an overhead catch position, really put these two into your drills. And then you'll notice I move on to simple things like cat, up and down, downward facing cat, that kind of stuff, or scared cat, whatever people want to call it, depends what world they're in the yoga world and all that kind of jazz. And then I move on to something that you might not have seen, which I've been doing with my specialist who's been helping me get a little bit more control of my spine. This is a wall spine roll down, and you can't really see much of what's going on, but I'll give you a little bit of a heads up of the movement. So what I'm doing is, as I breathe in, I'm externally rotating my arms, lifting my chest, and posteriorly tilting my pelvis into the wall, right? So I get rid of that little arc in the lower back that we all naturally have. And from that position, keeping tension, keeping the legs straight, I'm going to slowly breathe out, tuck my chin in, and roll my spine down, almost trying to take each individual vertebrae away from the wall at a time. And I know how hard that really is, especially when you've got a stiff back like mine. Then when I get all the way to the bottom, I hang out there for a couple of seconds, have a couple of deep breaths, and then I reverse the movement, trying to pin my L5 and coccyx all the way to the wall, and then L4, L3, L2, L1, and trying to roll it all the way back up. This is a really nice drill to gain a little bit more control of your spine, and it's something that I now put into every part of my warm-up drill because it's just absolutely perfect, and it's crossing over massively and giving me a little more control. Then it moves on to the hips. You'll notice that I do little hip openers and that kind of stuff. This kind of movement is very simple but very effective and can help get the glute medius firing a little more effectively as well. And yeah, that's what I do for that. And then finally, because I'm squatting, any form of squatting movement, whether it be the lifts, i.e. the clean and jerk, snatches, overhead squats, whatever, or I'm just doing front or back squats, Achilles and calves get rolled out with a lacrosse ball because they get super tight. I just want to get them moving more effectively. And then I finish on the box, leaning over, trying to mobilize the ankles and get a little bit more range. So I'm just putting the weight through the knee a little bit and encouraging the knee forward over the toes without the heel lifting up. These will all, each area of this will take around 5 minutes, I think, that I spend on there on average. So yeah, just wanted to jump in and give you that heads up so you're not avoiding it. And remember, when we're talking about mobilizing and we're talking about stretching, remember that the definition of stretching is the range of potential stretch through a muscle group, singular muscle group, whereas mobility, we're looking at the range for a particular joint. So when I come to warming up, I'm not spending too much time particularly stretching the muscles, just mobilizing the regions so I can get more range over my joints. Then at the end, I will stretch. So yeah, that took a lot longer than I wanted it to. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you're loving the video so much at the moment, give it a massive thumbs up, comment below. If you're loving the voiceovers, let me know. Let's get back to it. Right, warm up done. Time to build up to a heavy 5 sets of 2 at 150. JC has arrived. What are you doing, mate?
Just releasing off a cast at the moment, then I'm back on the WIT training, Gus's programming. Awesome. So whatever I can do on that today. Got some hold clean pauses, power clean, sorry. There's some front squats, but I just got to see how my knee is because I'm just nursing that in a bit. It's a little bit sore after hitting a snatch PB the other day.
There's something really rank when you say, I'm nursing it, nursing it.
Yeah. Well, you made it rank.
You can't say that, John.
I can. Interesting. What I did in between those rounds of rowing yesterday, so we only did 3 rounds. Can you say that?
Back squats done. They felt obscenely heavy. Now I'm going back to snatching, just technique work, because again, it's something that I really need to work on, and I worked quite hard. You'll see in the last couple of videos where I was at the athlete program and with the guys from X Endurance, Alec Harwood taught me a few different bits about my feet because my knee stability is not that great in the catch, and my arm bends quite a lot, my right arm, just because it's just mobility driven. I need to sort that out a little bit. So now I'm going to work on that just to keep, again, because there's a skill, you have to keep doing it to drill it in, otherwise those bad techniques are going to come straight back again. Right, I stopped at 80 because some of my bad habits, jumping wide, not pulling enough, bent arms in the catch, started to come back in again. So now I need to finally learn to butterfly chest to bar. JC's going to do it with me because the thing is, it's so hit and miss whether or not I can link them together. And again, it's just efficiency in that kip. Technique, it's always about technique, so I need to sort that out. First start working on that tight kip.
Next up, a couple of sets of butterflies without the extended kip, just to kind of get the rotator cuffs a little bit warmer in that rotational speed. So now I've got to work on really tightening that kick through, or the scoop with the legs, and the lat push down to just get that elevation or extra elevation for the chest to bar. Let's see if the first set goes well. So this for a thumbnail. Little high. Pretty good for a first set. So that was a successful set. I said to John, that was I've been able to do sets of like 6, 8 and 10 every now and again, but the main thing is that it's super taxing normally, so it's not going to be effective if I've got chest to bars followed by something else that could get my heart rate up. So that's the main thing with actually tightening that technique up, is knowing in my mind that I can do that and then go on to something else without thinking, oh, my arms are going to be wrecked. And that's the first set I've ever done of 10 reps, which there was no yanking on the biceps or the shoulders, where I actually felt like it was quite floaty, an actual gymnastics movement. So now, just refine it. Right, that is training done today for me. I might have a little go on the handstand ramp in a minute because JC said he's getting it out, which is, it's like a playground as soon as you get the soft toys out. And then I'm actually judging for Matt today, Matt, what qualifier are you doing today?
So I am going to try and do the Reykjavik Sanctional. It's going to be fun.
What have you got
All legs. 21:59 of dumbbell snatch and box step overs.
Yeah.
And then 27:18 of dumbbell squats and burpee box jump overs. And then some squat clean ladder up to 145. So it's going to be fun.
God. So I'll show you a little bit of a time lapse of that bad boy. I'm just going to judge him and then get home for a couple of client calls. Soft play is out. Get those heels over a little, mate. There you go. Yeah. All day. Good lad. Set it. That's his first sanctioned Reykjavik workout done. Obscene. So the clean weights, it was 8,642, 85, 100 kilos, 125, 145. Just to put it into perspective, just how easy he just made those cleans look. Amazing. JC, I'm going now. Bye.
Boosh. See ya. See ya.
Well done, mate.
Bye then.
See you later. Boom. Right, let's go home and do a back cave. Right. Party people, how we doing? We're in for another back cave. It's been a while, so thank you so much for watching the vlog as always. A little bit sniffly still, so I'll try not to sneeze because I ended up pretty much finishing my Skype call with a client with a sneezing fit, which is always extremely phenomenal. Right, so the subject today, all in relation to the title about my training and effectiveness since having Jax. How's it been affected? Has my training gone up the Swanee? Because so many people make the comment as parents, I don't know if that's, sorry, I keep looking at it because I don't know if that's level. Anyway, so many people make the comment of, your training's gonna be ruined the second that you have a baby, being a parent, blah, 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 it's all wrecked, right? First of all, it doesn't matter. I want people to just make sure that they're still staying on even if they haven't had kids, right? Or about to have kids. This is still relevant for a change of circumstances. Say you started a new job, you're about to start university or go to college, something that instantly changes the amount of responsibilities that you've got day to day, right? This basic back cave, this structure, this mind dump is gonna help you regardless, hopefully in some form. So try not to think of it as just, it doesn't make no sense to me because I don't want a baby or I don't have a baby. Because I know there's a lot of people out there hating on the fact that we've got kids now. Come on, get a grip, it's not gonna change. But I'm gonna start and be very honest because again, social media, there's so much sugarcoating absolutely everything. You know that we're an honest channel. There are a couple of ways in which that it has affected negatively, right? So I'm going to start with the negatives. So the negative number one is in terms of doing the training, my training, when I want, how I want, and all the rest of it, it's completely gone. Because one thing that you have to alleviate a certain amount of when you have a baby or new things in your life, new structures, is an element of control. So say for instance, I said, John, I'll meet you at the box. I'm gonna go for a workout at 10 o'clock. Jax might decide to do an absolute thumper dumper at 9:45 and then scream the house down. So I could be sat there at 11:30 going, for fuck's sake, I've missed my session, right? And getting really wound up about it. And it was something that, I'll be honest, I struggled with to start with. So sometimes my sessions, instead of being at the exact point, I pride myself at being on time. If you're one of those people, listen to me a little bit here and just alleviate a little bit of control because it will really help you just have a little bit more of a fluid, positive life, right? It's understanding that it isn't as simple as that. There's a little earthling that is so unpredictable and you kind of just have to go with it. You have to be just as free with it. You're like, well, she might be chilling now, so let's go and have a workout because right now she's relaxed, but she could turn around and change and turn into the Grinch in 5 minutes. You never know. So that's one negative, is the fact that I can't structure my workouts as simply or one-dimensionally as I'm gonna go and work out now, right?
that is something that might seem so menial and simple to a lot of people, but trust me, when you have other things and people that you have to consider and that kind of stuff, and it's not just yourself or your partner, it does make things a little bit testing sometimes, and it is frustrating because we're all individual selfish beings. You know, we want to please ourselves before anyone else 9 times out of 10. So that's a negative. What would I say the other negative is? I completely forgot what my other negative was, because there was another negative. Yes, sorry, I completely had, that should be like a baby brain, that should almost be the other negative. So the second negative, this is pretty much, I say it because it's not so much of, like I always say with training, right, and motivation and doing it and not doing it, there's reasons and there's excuses, right? This is half reason, half excuse, because it's something that I'm getting more and more in control of now that Jax is like 9, nearly 10 weeks old. And that is the compositional and aesthetic side of my training, right? So one thing that it's affected my body and my training specifically in a negative sense is compositionally. So like the way that I look, right? I've probably got the highest body fat that I've had for a little while right now. Haven't really got visible abs. I've got a little bit more fluff and all the rest of it. And I'm not going to turn around and say it's because I've got a child, but it's more purely because sometimes I know that I'm somebody who, if I don't get the sleep that I want, or I've had a little bit of a rough night, Jax sleeps, don't get me wrong, she just sleeps really, really well. We get about 6 hours unbroken each night. That's amazing at this stage. But I'm somebody who's a bit of a lover of sleep. So if I don't get like 8 hours min, I can be quite grumpy sometimes. And that leads to me to make more negative, poor choices with my food, right? So when it comes to my breakfast, the structure's always been, since Jax has been here, I make my breakfast every single morning. Poached eggs on toast, always have it. Have my sups, get going. I will always cook a meal 5 or 6 nights out of the week from scratch for me and Carly, right? What I have noticed negatively in terms of like my composition and aesthetic, which is a real big chunk of where a lot of people go wrong day to day when it comes to their aesthetic goals, is that bit in the middle. It's a long time between your breakfast and your dinner. I have got, up until like last week, really lazy with my food prep, right? So when I talk lazy, some people might go, this is amazing, but for me and my reality, food prepping Monday to Friday was just routine, right? Since having Jax, I've probably food prepped on average once, maybe twice a week, right? And it's not good enough, right? For me, it's not good enough. It's not where I need to be. It's not the level of accountability that I want to have. And it affects my aesthetics. There's no two ways about it, because what happens is I make poor food choices. Sometimes I just crack on and go, all right, I'm going to go and train. And then what happens as well is I've trained, which was amazing. My performance was great, but then my energy levels are even lower. You know, blood sugar levels are low, all that kind of stuff, which means that you end up making even worse choices because you're like, oh, I just need to eat, you know, and you get that hanger. And I would say that that's definitely something that I've noticed since having the little one here, is that I can be a little bit lazier with my food prep. It took me about 6 to 8 weeks to realize that. Now we're starting to kind of come out of that and not absolutely hammering Deliveroo. Bare money on Deliveroo all the time. You guys and girls out there cycling my food over, you're absolute legends. Thank you very much. But again, you know, that's a potential negative that I've found so far. But I'm going to switch it on its head very quickly now and say those two so-called reasons or excuses, which think of them what you will, are outweighed by one huge fundamental positive that comes from being a parent, or a huge change in circumstances. And before anyone out there turns around and goes, well, it's easy for you because you're self-employed, you can train whenever you like. Remember, I'm still running a couple of businesses here, right? There's still a certain amount of work that I have to do. I still have work hours. The only flexibility that I have compared to a lot of other people is the difference between, if I want to train during the day, I'll train during the day, but I still have to work until 7, 8 o'clock that night to justify it and make up for it, right? Because there's a lot of people who use the excuse to not make change or do something themselves of that person's circumstances are easier than mine. We've all got our own circumstances, right? Sometimes the truth hurts, but that is the bare truth. Sometimes we've just got to put our finger out and stop using excuses and reasons and actually get in there, right? So before anyone kicks off going, well, it's easy for you, you're a YouTuber. I'm not. I've got very many other facets to my career other than just YouTube content. But the positive is, ever since having Jax, my training sessions have become
100% more focused and effective, right? A lot of people it's very easy for us to be negative beings, right? Every single person out there, unless you constantly massage that positive side to your brain, right, we're easy at being negative. It's just the way that we're tuned. So we have to constantly fight it and not go, oh yeah, I'm tired, I've got a kid, I can't train because I'm tired. I can't train because I work too many hours. I can't train because that meal deal just looks too good. It's M&S's fault that I'm fat and overweight because their meal deals just look too good. It's all crap, right? It's all really easy to just accept that that's the way that it is and that's the reality. It isn't, you know. Positivity takes a lot of fucking mental and physical strength and energy and endurance. So the huge thing that I've noticed is my sessions now, because of the structured time, right? I used to go in the gym and piss around for hours, talking to everyone. How are you doing? What are you up to today? What are you up to today? Just finding out what everyone was doing for no apparent reason. Now, I have an hour to an hour and a half max in that gym and I have to be back out again. That is a huge, huge positive. It's also an area of freedom in my day sometimes. So the other day, I felt like absolute crap. Like today, I'm not feeling great, but I still train. Why? Because I kind of enjoy that. It's my own personal free time. Like the other day, I got to like 8 o'clock at night, hadn't done anything all day because we had so many other things going on. And I was like, right, I've got 10 minutes. I'm getting downstairs. I'm having a workout. I'm going to do a 10-minute email. I'm going to get something done. There's no two ways about it. Before we had Jax, I would have gone, fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow. Because I've got the time to just sit there. I've only got to worry about Carly, you know, and seeing her. And we can just sit there and chill, we can walk the dog. It makes it so much easier to make up excuses as to why you can't do it right there and then. And that's one thing that's happened since having Jax. I'm like, I need to get to the gym, I need to get it done, and I need to get home and be dad. Or I need to get home and do my work. And that's a huge positive that outweighs any of the potential negative reasons and aesthetics and all that kind of crap that's come since having her. And I think it's really important, and I really want people out there who are starting families, thinking about starting families, who have started families, that all of that, let's be completely real, who gives a fuck about aesthetics? Have you seen that? She is the most beautiful thing that I've ever looked at in my life. I couldn't give a flying one about six packs and big arms and everything like that. It's just a facet to my entity, you know. It's something that I enjoy and I want to look good and I want to look like Superman and all that kind of stuff. I still want to be an attractive guy, but let's be honest, it's not as important as being a dad to me. It isn't, and it will continue to be that way because I have changed. But I still have elements of my, you know, selfishness and vanity that I still need to massage. So just to keep it real, you know, I'm not that bothered on the negative side effects of having a little one. They're all much more excuses for not pulling your finger out and working out. But I just wanted to give two sides of that argument, because a lot of people ask the question and we all go, oh yeah, it's all just fruit and daisies and skipping around in fields and it's all just cracking on the way that we did. And it isn't. Things change. Change is a very good thing as long as you don't fight it. Right? Add structure to that change and it will be absolutely fine. So good luck to anyone out there who's starting a family. Good luck to anyone out there who has changed their structure of their work, their lifestyle. If you're about to start uni, stop focusing on the time that you don't have because of these new things and focus on the time that you do have and make good choices in that time, right? Because that's all it's about, is where we're negatively driven, we look at all the time that we don't have anymore, and we look at the time that our hours at work or our hours with our family have taken away. Remember to look behind that and see what time you have got. You'll be surprised how much more little pockets of time you can pick up here, there and everywhere to add to your workout day. If you're a mother and you're breastfeeding, there's always that sweet little spot once the little beautiful bastard is asleep after their little milk drunk, after they've had their breast milk and their milk drunk and they're sleeping. You might get half an hour, you might get 5 minutes, but they're the times where you go, right, I'm going to feed them. Once they go down, they always have a nice little nap for a little while. Get in, do a little session at home. You can find the time. You've just got to motivate yourself and program that time in. So this was a long one. I hope you really enjoyed it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back with another vlog soon. Hopefully I won't be sounding so nasally. The Open starts next weekend. I'm going to be heading down to Strength in Depth at the XL to support some of my friends, Zach, Laura, my coach Mike Catras as well, in the teams.
It's going to be fun. So if you're there, make sure you come over and give me a massive high five, say hello, give us a squeeze. It's always nice to meet you guys and girls. If you love this video, give it a massive thumbs up. If you want to start the conversation, continue this conversation below, always welcome. Get a comment below. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And make sure you check out TLM Radio on our podcast because it's freaking awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you in the next one.